The release of The Great Dark Beyond happened over a month ago. Now it's time to reflect, take stock and see how the game has changed since then. We'll also assess the impact of recent balance adjustments. My goal is to gather fresh data on the best decks for easily reaching legendary rank, update insights on the most efficient packs to buy, and identify the most valuable legendary cards to craft. With this data, I'll deliver a final verdict on whether the new set has been a success or a misstep.
Time to rock and roll!
Hello my friends. My name is Bot Mathematician and this is Holomancer.
Also, Chief Investigative Reporter Dora joined us this evening.
Gadgets and Gazette always gets the scoop. Guys, for the past month, you've been keeping a close eye on all aspects of Hearthstone. Now it's time for a significant update. What effect has the major balance patch had? How has the meta evolved? Has the new set proved its worth?
Dear friends, today we're presenting an unusual express review. In the next 15 minutes, we'll cover the most critical aspects of Hearthstone, new decks, recommended packs to buy, crafting tips, the impact of balance changes and our player satisfaction survey results.
We've never tackled so many topics in one video before. This is an experimental format. If you find it useful, please let us know by hitting the like button. As always, our video includes subtitles, which you can translate into your native language using the auto-translate feature. We would like to express our deep gratitude to Davey for adapting the text for our Brazilian viewers. Updated subtitles will be available soon. Obrigado Davey. We'd also like to take a moment to thank our new sponsors. Nicholas Novak and Radio Renegade. Your support means the world to us. Thank you so much. We appreciate any form of support, whether it's likes, shares, or hitting the bell button.
Now, let's dive straight into discussing the best decks for quickly reaching legendary rank. One of the most controversial decks for climbing to legend is Sonya Rogue. This deck is incredibly popular, especially at higher legend ranks, but its overall performance isn't as impressive. Traditionally, Rogue is one of the most complex classes, requiring a high skill level for effective play. The archetype is capable of generating massive value in cycles, but only in the hands of experienced players. Among the new cards from the Great Dark Beyond, this build includes just one, Ethereal Oracle. The deck's composition consists of 3 legendaries and 6 epics, making it less budget-friendly. What's particularly interesting is the efficiency factor.
This is our experimental formula that calculates the cost-to-effectiveness ratio of a deck, helping you decide how worthwhile it is to craft for climbing the ladder. For Sonya Rogue, the efficiency factor is -72%. This negative result means that you should ignore this deck, especially if your resources are very limited. Due to the skill requirement, climbing the ladder with Sonya Rogue will be a difficult and frustrating experience for most players.
The Rainbow Death Knight has an extremely low efficiency factor. While this deck is competitive, and honestly, one of my personal favorites, it comes with a major drawback: its reliance on a large number of high-rarity cards. This makes it unjustifiably expensive for most new players. However, Death Knight fans will definitely want this build in their collection. The archetype received a slight upgrade with 3 new cards that have already proven their effectiveness. This remains one of the few traditional control archetypes that is still relevant and competitive.
Following the recent nerf to Mystery Egg, the Discover package has become the core of the Hunter. This is primarily a tempo archetype with the flexibility to adapt to your opponent's strategy. Its standout feature is the fresh gameplay. Among the most effective builds, this is the only entirely new strategy. However, there is one downside: it's not a budget-friendly deck. Crafting Agrimer the Avenger is not worth the investment, so you can safely replace it with Kill Command.
Next, let's talk about Priests. The best deck for the class remained Zarimi. This archetype has moved away from using the spell funnel cake and has successfully incorporated 3 new cards. Ethereal Oracle has become a must-have for aggro decks, while Orbital Halo offers a massive advantage thanks to its potential to reduce its cost to 0, as early as turn 1. Meanwhile, the Ceaseless Expanse is more of an optional card. Overall, the new set has had minimal impact on this strategy.
Dunger Druid has significantly benefited from the release of the new expansion. The archetype effectively integrated several key new cards, which have made it more consistent. While Sleep Under the Stars has dropped from the most effective builds after its nerf, this hasn't greatly diminished the deck's power. To me, This strategy feels reminiscent of the big spell mage archetype. Your success often depends more on having the right cards in hand than on your skill. Additionally, Dungar Druid poses significant threats much earlier than control decks are typically prepared to handle it. Even if control archetypes manage to counter its initial threats, Hydration Station brings them back to the board. In my opinion, this creates serious challenges for many control strategies. Players are still experimenting with Libram decks, but these attempts have proven insufficient for climbing to legend. Meanwhile, Linessa Paladin is steadily climbing toward the title of the best Paladin deck. Its effectiveness and presence at high ranks have significantly increased following the recent balance changes. Like most effective builds, this deck has adopted Ethereal Oracle, which is the only new card you need. The sole drawback of this deck is its relative complexity. You'll need more skill and game knowledge to make it work effectively.
Among Demon Hunter decks, various aggro strategies are competing for dominance, but the attack archetype has steadily improved its effectiveness. This deck focuses on dealing damage by amplifying the hero's attack. Its primary strategy is quick aggression through spells and effects that boost attack, allowing it to control the board and deal significant damage to opponents early on. The deck has successfully incorporated 2 new tools from the latest expansion, including Ethereal Oracle. Thanks to its low cost and high efficiency, the deck boasts a strong efficiency factor. If you're a new or returning player, consider trying Elemental Mage. The strategy took a big hit following the recent nerf, with Lamplighter disappearing from popular builds. This has negatively impacted the deck's popularity and effectiveness, though the archetype remains competitive despite its performance declining at higher ranks. That said, it's currently the only viable strategy for Mage. The deck's main strengths are its straightforward gameplay, low cost, and satisfactory win rate. These factors contribute positively to its high efficiency factor.
However, the best option for climbing the ladder quickly is undoubtedly Pirate Shaman. This deck is what remains, and has evolved, after the wave of nostalgia nerf. Interestingly, some builds still use one copy of the spell effectively, though not in this version. The deck's overall feel hasn't changed much, with Ethereal Oracle being the only new card included. This card is proving to be too versatile for too many decks.
The win rate for Pirate Shaman at high ranks on the way to legend can reach nearly 60%. Its efficiency factor is an impressive 64%. Despite its relatively high crafting cost, its effectiveness is too attractive, leading to the deck's widespread popularity. Personally though, I find the deck uninteresting. Here are some more quick facts about the current competitive landscape. Warrior is currently the weakest class, with no viable strategies for competitive play. The same applies to Warlock. While Pain archetype performs adequately at lower ranks, the aggressive meta prevents them from thriving on the road to legend. The remaining 9 classes all have competitive strategies. Compared to our previous review, more decks have managed to integrate at least some new tools, though their impact on gameplay has been minimal. Outside of Discover Hunter, older strategies continue to dominate. This doesn't mean new archetypes are entirely absent, but they lag behind established strategies in effectiveness. After the recent nerfs and buffs, the meta has stabilized relatively quickly. The top strategies are mostly balanced, with the exception of Pirate Shaman, which is significantly stronger than its competitors. Despite Sonya Rogue's low overall win rate, it can deliver some truly incredible plays. Another notable point is that none of the cards that received buffs have made it into the most effective ladder decks.
I can't overlook the Twist mode. The Wonders format takes players back to an alternate 2016 where rotation never happened. I didn't expect to enjoy the return of Twist after such a long break. While Standard offers variety, I've grown tired of the current strategies, and the classic gameplay feels like a breath of fresh air. Personally, I favor the Jade Rogue deck. This build has shown impressive effectiveness on the way to legend, achieving an almost perfect efficiency factor. However, due to the format's low popularity, these efficiency metrics may not be entirely representative. The biggest downside to the format is the complete absence of free cards, as the core set is not part of the available pool. It's disappointing that the developers haven't made any effort to make this format more accessible to a broader audience.
Let's talk about legendary cards. A few weeks ago, we published an in-depth guide on the best cards to craft, based on our proprietary algorithm. By considering a maximum number of factors, we identified the most valuable cards. the video remains relevant, but let's discuss the cards that have seen the most significant shifts in utility following the balance changes.
The utility index for the gravitational displacer has increased by 41% after its buff. This card moved from the useless category to the mid-tier group. The primary reason for this growth is its rising popularity. 22% of Rogue used the card across all ranks. Players are eagerly trying to make the Starship archetype work, but its overall effectiveness remains low. A similar trend can be seen with Ural, Beacon of Hope. The card has become significantly more popular, and its performance has improved, but its impact on the meta is still negligible. As we predicted, Lumia has shifted from the strong category to the niche category and has nearly disappeared from standard format. However, it has gained traction in Wild as part of XL Paladin builds. Murmur's utility has dropped to 9%. The card has almost vanished from standard but retains a niche role in Wild. Kara, the Dark Star, has seen a 23% rise in utility, shifting from useless to weak. This increase is due to the emergence of minor experiments with the SNEC strategy.
Overall, the list of the most valuable cards has barely changed. The Ceaseless Expanse and Kol'Jaden remain the top crafting priorities. Sarun has proven to be highly effective and is now the most important legendary card for Mage. Ironically, the list still includes Valen, a card that sees almost no use in competitive play, even at lower ranks, and is considered weak. The remaining 17 cards on the list are even less impactful. Now, let's address the big question. Has the utility of the newest card packs improved after the buffs? Are they now more appealing to purchase?
As expected, nothing significant has changed. The Great Dark Beyond packs are gradually losing their influence on the meta, and the overall popularity of their cards is now comparable to the cards from the Whizbang's Workshop expansion, excluding its mini set. Essentially, the new set is having roughly the same impact as an expansion released 9 months ago, which traditionally is the weakest set of the year.
The best packs to purchase are still Perils in Paradise. The overall popularity of cards in this set is higher, and it contains a significantly greater number of valuable legendary cards for deck building. Take advantage of the low utility of cards from the Great Dark Beyond to fill gaps in your Perils in Paradise collection, or start saving gold for the upcoming mini set or the next expansion after rotation. For detailed data and a proper purchasing order, check out our dedicated review.
What about player satisfaction after the release of the expansion and the balance changes? Guys, tell us about your findings.
After the release of Perils in Paradise, we observed some signs of declining player interest in traditional Hearthstone and a drop in mobile platform revenue. We decided to thoroughly analyze our subscribers' feedback throughout the expansion phase to try to identify patterns between audience satisfaction, the number of legend players, and mobile revenue. We've conducted similar studies in the past, but so far, we haven't been able to draw any definitive conclusions.
This time, we took a more systematic approach to get a clearer picture. According to our polls, our subscribers were not thrilled with the post-release meta of Perils in Paradise. Overall satisfaction stood at just 48%. Satisfaction continued to decline even after balance changes, hitting a record low of 37% following the release of the mini set. Patch 30.4.3 offered a slight improvement, but the real turning point was the return of Prince Renathal to standard. The release of the Great Dark Beyond also didn't disappoint the community. A satisfaction score of 56% isn't bad, especially considering the traditionally critical position of players towards the metagame. However, the most recent balance patch failed to make a notable impact, with current satisfaction dipping to 51%. Only 7% of players report being fully satisfied with the state of the game. While not an impressive result, it's far from catastrophic. Interestingly, recent balance patches haven't significantly influenced satisfaction with the meta. It seems that while addressing balance issues, developers only partially counteract declining interest, rarely resulting in increased satisfaction. I think this is an interesting result, and we would like to continue the study.
To complement the bigger picture, I've once again gathered data on the number of legend-ranked players from the leaderboards section of the official site. In November, the total number of players who reached legend rank slightly increased. Our community surveys also confirm this trend. In October, a significant number of Chinese players left regional servers to return to the newly reopened national Chinese server, about which we have no official information. Most of these players departed from the Asia-Pacific server. Despite this, the server still hosts the largest number of Legend players. We suspect that some engaged Chinese players have chosen to maintain their progress and play on both servers. However, some of them may complete their transition after the next rotation. The current total number of Legend ranked players is higher than it was following the release of Death Knight in late 2022. The same applies to Battlegrounds players who have reached 8,000 rating points. While the number of top-tier players has significantly decreased, it remains substantially higher compared to 2022. Additionally, the total number of top-performing players in the Duos mode has slightly increased throughout Season 8.
Now onto the conclusions. Cards from the Great Dark Beyond continue to have an unusually low impact on the meta.
Balance changes have failed to break this trend. Despite this, player satisfaction remains relatively high. Players are motivated to reach higher ranks, which we believe indicates a reasonably healthy competitive environment without major issues. Furthermore, players can take advantage of the low utility of the new packs to accumulate resources. Based on this, we cannot consider the Great Dark Beyond a failure in the conventional sense.
Dear viewers, should we do similar express overviews of all aspects of Hearthstone in the future? What are your thoughts? Do you think the Great Dark Beyond is the worst set in history? Share your thoughts in the comments and join the polls in the community tab.
Traditionally, we want to express our boundless gratitude to our sponsors.
Dear friends, your help is invaluable. We will be grateful for any support.
Okay, that's all for today. Thank you for spending this time with us. We really hope that we will have the opportunity to get in touch in the next video.
Take care of yourself.
And never give up.
Job's done.